Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing review. This time it's Motörhead and it is the Manticore tapes. This is the deluxe 2 vinyl 7-inch single hardback book affair. This is also available on single CD, I believe. But this focus is on this Super Deluxe edition. So I'm going to show you inside this package, and then on the other side of that I'm going to talk about who I think this is aimed at, and I might give you a Lemmy story. I'll see how you will behave to whether that happens or not. But anyway, let's have a look inside the package. So this is a look inside Motörhead, the Manticore tapes. This is the vinyl box set, and we've got two on the hype stickers on the outer sleeve. It says Motörhead 50 years louder, and over here it says limited edition Super Deluxe book pack. This deluxe expanded double LP and bonus 7-inch single book pack includes the original lost never before heard album from 1976, recorded at the legendary Manticore Studios, making the first ever recording with the classic Three Amigos lineup at their rawest. Includes additional alternative takes, instrumentals for unique insight into the birth of this legendary band. Also, we have live Blitzkrieg in Birmingham 77, and also a bonus 7-inch single with 2 tracks live from Barbarella's in Birmingham, and a 24-page booklet with liner notes from long-term collaborator Chris Needs. So let's have a look inside. It's a nice design, this. That's the first thing I'm going to say. This is from BMG, and I think they've done a really good job. This is the back. You can see the track listings for the first vinyl album, and then the second vinyl album, and the 7-inch single. It says that it's the estates of Edward Clarke, Ian Kilminston, and Philip Taylor under license and Sanctuary Records. So let's have a look inside it. Let's see if we can get it all in the shot if possible. So bear with me. Yes, I can. Excellent. So this is inside the front cover, and the first thing we've got here is the single from Barbarella's Birmingham 1977. So I'll take that out first of all, I think, if I can. So I'll just show you, and I'll talk about the sound at the end. So this is a clear vinyl 7-inch single with basically Cooper's on the Road on the other side of this, and Motörhead on the B side. So I'll just put that to one side. And then we've got the first picture of Lemmy. Obviously, the pictures I think from overall the Motörhead career, but it's nicely done. There's some great quotes as well from all of the band. So then in here, the next page is an excellent essay. See if I can just show you the pictures. I love this picture of the band here by Pinball Machines, which obviously was a big thing for Lemmy. And this story is really detailed, going into how the band came together, and also how people perceive the bands. When Jeff Barton from Sounds called Melody Maker simply called them the worst band in the world, because some of their early gigs were very, very loose. Someone said unless you had a frontal lobotomy, I don't see how you could enjoy this music. But I also like one of the great quotes from Lemmy. It says, it'll be the dirtiest rock and roll band in the world, and if we moved next door to you, your lawn would die. The overall focus was trying to be the new MC5. Another great picture of the band here, and this is the Manticore Studios, which is of course owned by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Really, really good story about how the band came together. And this is from Chris Over the Top Needs, and there's some nice pictures as well, and then more quotes. A lot of these quotes are taken from the main body of text. Great picture of the guys there. Looks like in front of a council estate somewhere. And here as well, for Capri at the bottom, the mid-70s. And again, these quotes are all taken from the main body of the text, really. Then we have the lyrics, and obviously the album starts with the instrumental, and we've got Leaving Here, Vibrator, Keep Us on the Road, The Watcher, Motörhead itself, and all the credits of who wrote the songs. Obviously, one of the tracks is written by John Mayall, and obviously Larry Wallace. The whole story about Larry Wallace's involvement is in here as well, and how he wasn't involved later on. And then the actual track listing here, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, and the Birmingham stuff, which is actually from June the 3rd, 1977, at the Birmingham Town Hall, supporting Hawkwind. The mastering, so Motörhead Management, except audio restoration by Cameron Webb at Maple Studios and Santa Ana, California, mastering by Andrew Akeli at Boscone House, Los Angeles, etc. And then we have the two vinyl albums have got their own sleeves, pages, if you like. So I'll just take these out if I can do that, if I've got enough room. So this is the studio album. Everything is on clear vinyl, and I have played these, and the pressing quality is good. The music quality is very different depending on which one of these you're playing, but I'll talk about that in my review. And I'll also mention who I feel this whole set is aimed at, really. And that's the second one. And that closes over, and that's the full Super Deluxe set of Motörhead, the Manticore tapes. And now I'll tell you what my thoughts are on the overall package. So that is Motörhead, the Manticore tapes, the lost album, as I read out there from the hype sticker on the front of the outer packaging before I took it off. This is the long lost album from 1976. This is, as it says, Motörhead at their most raw. And to give you a bit of background to where I was at that time, because I am one of those people that was around when this was unfolding around me, I bought the first single they did on Bronze, which was Louis Louis, which has actually appeared on the channel as a post. But the year before that, I bought this, which was the Chiswick 12-inch single from 1977, which was City Kids on one side and the track Motörhead on the other. I always felt that this version of the track Motörhead was the best version that had ever been laid down. It's got the lyrics on the back, etc. I know, this is, you want to know about the box, but I'm giving you for context this, really. And this was produced by Speedy Keen. So what about this? I'll admit that, and some of you who are absolute Motörhead buffs will be way ahead of me, saying that some of this stuff must have escaped some of Fast Eddie's tapes and stuff, especially the Blitzkrieg stuff, which I'll touch on in a moment. But where it says Motörhead at its most raw, I get very suspicious when anything appears like that in wordage, because it always makes you think, oh, it's going to be pretty dodgy audio. It's the kind of thing I might only play once, that kind of thing. So I put on the first album, which, as you saw, is in clear vinyl, and I have to say I was really, really amazed and surprised. And that's not because my expectations were so low that I was almost expecting it to kind of like be underwhelmed. I thought it was great. It's, how would I describe it if you've never heard this before? I think calling it a long lost album is, I don't know, creative, but it's a professionally recorded rehearsal is how I would describe it, with no overdubs, and professionally recorded at the Manticore Studios, which was owned by Emma Lake and Palmer, which is like a converted cinema. It sounds great. And the intro, which is an instrumental, is very much like, if you like the Pink Fairies, and Larry Wallace has gone by this point, but it has that kind of punkish MC5 Pink Fairies feel to it. It's also, there's no vocals obviously on that track, it's an instrumental just called the intro, but there's kind of, it's quite clean. Lemmy's bass is quite clean. Fast Eddie's guitar is quite clean. You can feel more of his blues tinged background. Really, it's quite complex as well. It's because there was something about Motörhead where they were attracting both what was going to be the new punk thing and plus the kind of people that really wanted raw rock and roll as it became very complicated because of prog and stuff around the midpoint of the 70s. But this was quite complex music in some ways when you actually listen to it. The next track in is Leaving Here, and there's also an alternative mix which I'll talk about as well. This is quite punky, and it's obviously, as I said, it's very live. These are Lemmy actually introduces bits of the tracks as well, and his vocal is also cleaner than it was going to become. That's true as well. There's a very much almost a Dr. Feelgood's feel to this track, I felt. The next one is called Vibrator, and Larry Wallace co-wrote this, and this is very punky, very, again, Pink Fairies, and there's an alternative version of this as well, which sounds almost like the Buzzcocks, way before the Buzzcocks existed, probably. And then we have Help Keep Us on the Road, which is very much proto Motörhead as we know them, very menacing track, very rock and roll. There's a bass solo in this. There's a great guitar solo in here, but it's the bass solo that grabbed my attention the most. And it makes you realise just how good Lemmy was as a bass player. And also this kind of, the way they interacted, the way that Philthy Animal Taylor, Fast Eddie and Lemmy interacted so early on in their career, you can tell the magic is there. This recording captures the magic of early Motörhead to me, and this track only ends because Fast Eddie breaks a string and Lemmy says that, and it just grinds to a halt. The next one is called The Watcher, which I think Lemmy wrote for Hawkwind, and this is a great track as well. Clean vocal, almost. Very blues tinged guitar solo, and it makes you, again, it's another track that makes you realise how good Lemmy was as a musician on the bass and how inventive he was and what he was doing here. But also, as I've said, just the chemistry between the three of them, you can feel it. You can feel the chemistry between these three guys, which are now known as the Three Amigos from Motörhead, and how great they were. Then we have the track Motörhead. The vocal is a bit distant on this. It's the first track on the album where the vocal sounds as if it could have been a bit louder. It's very punky. It's close to my Chiswick version, but not quite as mad as that. But it's amazing. This is really raw and on the edge. On the B side of the first album, we have Witch Doctor, which is an instrumental. This is fab, really fast rock and roll. And then we have Iron Horse - Born to Lose. There is a voice very much in the distance on this. So although it's classed on the album as an instrumental, I wonder if it's because they forgot to turn the mic on at the time they recorded it, and that's what they put it out, because you can just about hear in the distance Lemmy singing on it, but it's fine. And the music is quite complicated. For what you might be expecting, as Motörhead find their feet, really. But it really shows how good they were and how good they were going to be. Then we've got Leaving Here, an alternative take, which is, I think, is better than the other one on side one. Vibrator, which is even more cleaner vocal, but very more punky. And then The Watcher, an alternative version, and this is more bluesy than the other version on here. So that is the Lost Studio album, if you like, and the recording is, you can hear everything. You can hear the drums, the bass, guitar, the vocals, apart from Motörhead, the track itself where the vocals are a bit distant, but you can hear everything, the separation, the recording. I think the recording is immaculate. It's not as heavy and as brutal as Motörhead were going to become, but you can really feel it. You can really feel the power of the band. I cannot push this down in regards to quality, because I think historically it's a very, very important recording. That's it. So I'm absolutely stunned with that. Now, the next final album in this set is Blitzkrieg in Birmingham, or on Birmingham even, in 77. There isn't anything in the package apart from the audio restoration that says exactly where this was. So I had to go digging on the internet. And it was when they were supporting Hawkwind, I believe, at the Birmingham Odeon on June the 3rd. Now, this has been released before on CD. I don't know if it's been released on vinyl before. It is a bootleg. Okay, that is it. So you'll see reviews online of people who bought this in previous incarnations saying the quality is poor or whatever. And you know what I'm like with bootlegs. What did I put here? It is very raw. It is bootleg quality. The vocals are in the distance, but it's a good listen. It's not like something where I just couldn't wait to take it off. So I think there has been some kind of retweaking of maybe the original tapes to make this maybe the best version of this concert people have ever heard. It's an historical document. It captures Motörhead, Vibrator, Keeps on the Road, The Watcher, Iron Horse, Leaving Here, On Parole, I'm Your Witch Doctor, Train Kept a Rolling, This Kids, and White Line Fever. So it's classic early Motörhead, but it is really rough and ready. Transparent vinyl or not, it is rough and ready. And then we have a 7-inch single called Barbarella's in Birmingham. What a venue. I used to go there a lot. Great venue. Now, this is even more bootleggy, and this is basically Motörhead and Keeps on the Road. This is very, very raw. So in that respect, the package itself is being really well put together with a lot of love and affection for the musicians involved and for the fans of Motörhead in what we as fans would like to have. The long lost album is well worth having. You might be leaning more towards the CD if you already know, if you're not that keen on bootleg live stuff, and that's really what Blitzkrieg on Birmingham is. I can't really dress it up any other way. It's exciting recording, and again, for some people the atmosphere is captured on this, but it has been out before on CD, so some of you are going to have this, aren't you? Who's this aimed for? Who is the record label expecting to buy this? Is this going to be someone who's new to Motörhead? No, it isn't. If you look on the Motörhead website, the way it's pitched, this is pitched at people who absolutely love this band, these three characters, everything they've ever done. You already have everything they've ever done, and you want to get closer to them, and you want to get closer to the origin of the story. This is who this is aimed at. It's well put together package, and I think if you're a big fan, you'll get this, and you'll be impressed, and you'll be very happy with your purchase. If you're an occasional Motörhead fan that you just have Ace of Spades and maybe a best of, this isn't for you. This is a limited edition, and it is aimed at the super Motörhead fan who's maybe got almost everything, and you just want this last part of the jigsaw packaged in a way that has been put together with a lot of thought towards the fan. And I have to say, because I am critical of packaging sometimes, and I know this isn't a cheap set, but this feels like quality. So if you are in that camp that I've just described and that kind of Motörhead fan, then I think you'll be pleased with this. If you're not quite sure, but you are interested in this kind of early part of Motörhead's career, then the CD is probably where you might want to come in on this. And you won't be disappointed with this Manticore tapes recording itself. It really lends it into On Parole and where that went before we move on to Overkill, classic album, etc. So yeah, that's out now on BMG Records. Right, I did say I might share a Lemmy story, didn't I? So those of you who just wanted the review, thank you for watching. It's been great having you here, and this is out now on BMG Records. For anyone else, I'm going to take you back to the early 80s, and the venue is Dingwalls in London. And I was in a band called Rogue Male at the time with Chris Almer, who used to be in Samson. And I used to travel down to go out socially with Chris from Birmingham to London on a Wednesday night. And Dingwall's always had a variety of people in it. It could be Dara Pesh if she was over here, or Girls' School, or even Richie Blackmore once sitting up in the corner with his pilgrim's hat on, where no one dared go up to him because everyone was too nervous. But the person who was very friendly, approachable, and was there a lot was Lemmy. And he was there most nights. And, for me, being a, young kid, the idea of going up to Lemmy, one of my heroes, and having a kind of casual chat, like saying, "How you doing?" that kind of thing, because those are the kind of things you say. You don't go up and say, "Can you tell me what was going through your mind when you wrote No Class, Lem?" You're just at the bar, aren't you? You're getting a drink in, and you're standing next to the guy, so you just say, "All right, Lem, how you going?" And so that's basically what I did. And Lemmy was always dressed like Lemmy, with a bullet belt and the denim shirt undone to his navel, etc. And I did know from talking to the barman that he used to put about, 700, 600 quid a night into the One-Armed Bandit. And he just, he loved those. And so I was saying, how you doing and what's going on and everything. And I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was just talking about the band and that. And I'd got my drinks in, and he called the bartender over, and he said he wanted, I think he was drinking, what was he drinking? He was thinking Jack Daniels, I think. It was whiskey. And the guy went to get him a shot, and he said, no. And he threw two 20-pound notes over the counter and the bar, and just said to the barman, just give me the bottle. So with the optics in, with the thing, and he took it off the shelf, off the bar, gave it to Lemmy, and Lemmy just turned it upside down and literally pumped it into his pint glass. He just filled it up, the whole thing, and then he just drank it like a pint. I can't say whether he finished it all, because it's what happened next that really kind of really stuck with me. I didn't see him walk in with anybody. He seemed to be on his own, but at the bar at Dingwall's there were like stalls where you could sit and just prop the bar up. And about 2 stalls away from him was a girl sitting there by the bar. And I hadn't seen her talk to Lemmy or anything really. But he just kind of said, "Right, I'm off," after he'd kind of downed his drink. And he just turned to his right, picked up the girl off the stool, put her over his shoulder and walked out. Rock and roll was like living in a cartoon back then. Very, very different. I just thought that just stuck with me. I went home and said, "I just saw Lemmy," and he drank a whole bottle of whiskey, and he just went to the girl nearest to him and put her over his shoulder and walked out. What a guy, what a character, what a musician. I think there are so many stories about Motörhead, and I do have another one. In fact, I do. I have another one, but this you might find this hard to believe. When Fast Eddie left the band and they were looking for another guitarist, this is true. None of you are going to believe this, apart from the one person who put me forward, who I won't mention. But as news went out that they were looking for a new guitarist, somebody put my name forward and asked me to send in photographs and tapes to see if I would be the ideal candidate to join Motörhead. This is before Brian Robinson, obviously, and apparently I didn't get an audition, but I did have feedback to why I hadn't got the audition, and the feedback was they looked at me in the photograph, and I was classed as being too pretty for the band. I was a lot younger then. Okay. Anyway, so there on the end of this review of the Manticore tapes, a couple of Motörhead stories. But really, sorry, I didn't want to take any limelight away from this. If you're a Motörhead fan and you're a huge Motörhead fan, this has got your name on it. So jump in. If you're not sure, get the CD. But really well done, and some great stuff. And it brought a real smile to my face and made me realise just at the very beginning what Lemmy Fast Eddie and Philthy Animal Taylor's vision was to what they were creating. Thunderous rock and roll. Motörhead, we play rock and roll. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your support and all of your messages and emails, etc. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please keep spinning those discs and buy some Now Spinning Magazine merch. And if you become a patron or YouTube member, you can also get access to our private WhatsApp group communities and our private Facebook group community as well, because that's what this is. Now Spinning Magazine is a community of like-minded people, and we have a get-together twice a month at our own virtual pub called the Now Spinning Arms. So much to look forward to and enjoy. So thank you very much again. Keep spinning those discs, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.